Welcome, everyone, one and all, to the PIPCAST 3000, a bi-weekly podcast where we talk about Fallout and gaming and stuff like that. I'm Caedo Genesis, and I'm joined by my amazing, handsome, and cheery co-hosts, BADCompanySarge.
Yay.
And Jared of Jarred Gaming.
Howdy, partner.
Sarge, you need to let people know you're still alive.
I am still alive. I'm actually feeling a lot better than I have in the past dozen PIPCasts.
And speaking of living and continuing to do so, our tip of the day happens to be an important one. You know how we've been dealing with the whole pandemic and everything like that. Well, there's vaccines available, and they're free. It depends on your location, obviously, but my area has opened up to the public to go get their vaccines, and I did that, or scheduled it as soon as possible, and it was quick. Took less than an hour to go there, get it, and come back. And
It's good.
yeah, I feel mentally better already about even going outside. So, you know, it's a good thing.
I cannot wait
Yeah.
until I get a needle in my arm.
Yep. And vaccines are free. That's all I was trying to say as the as the tip of the day. Yeah, and we have a comment of the cast every PIPCast, since a certain time I made the decision to have a comment of the cast, I guess. And we had one from Kenji Dark Hour, who's been perusing my channel quite a bit and watching a lot of my content. I've noticed this, Kenji. Thank you. And Jared, would you perhaps like to read that?
Oh, why certainly. Kenji goes on to say, currently I'm doing a playthrough of New Vegas as a slightly adjusted buckaroo, and I'm definitely enjoying the game all over again.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're enjoying it, Kenji, because I'm going to rant about New Vegas at the end of this podcast, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Take that in the future.
We should tease our topic, our dedicated Fallout topic a little bit. Something about mutations, right, Sarge?
Oh, yeah. Are you a mutant? Would you like to be a mutant? Stay tuned for mutant stuff.
Good. You nailed it.
Yeah.
We have a quite a bit of news topics. Sarge had one day where he was just looking through. What were you waiting for? You were waiting for something, right?
I was waiting for my food to show up.
Yeah, and you.
So I read a dozen articles and linked most of them because a lot of them are interesting.
Yeah. So we have a lot of news topics this time. I don't know how long we're gonna spend on each of them, but I'm excited. First is the Epic Game Store now has the ability to launch some apps.
Ooh.
Which includes itch.io, iHeartRadio, KenShape, Krita. It's a digital painting. Spotify?
Yeah, it's got Spotify.
Oh yeah,
Does
Spotify. And
Yeah.
and Brave, which is a browser.
Yeah.
So you can run a browser
It's
from
a
your.
gaming-based browser.
So it's
Oh.
got.
I think I've seen a mate of mine be sponsored by them once. I think that was the thing.
Interesting.
Okay.
Does it have RGB? Because it's for gaming.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, I'm distinctly familiar with Itch. That's where I get most of my indie games for my content on my channel. It's kind of interesting to see them on here, actually.
Yeah.
I literally just saw a tweet about them.
Yeah, it's
They didn't put itch.io, so I was really confused for a good couple of minutes.
it's just I got this itch I just can't scratch.
Oh, no.
It was literally why do people have a problem with itch? And I was like, because it's annoying to have an itch?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Because usually, if it's consistent for a day or more, you probably should go see a doctor.
Yes.
This is true. I actually read about this a while ago. It's not a long time ago, but I find it weird a little bit because Itch.io or itch.io, whatever, however you say it, anyway, they have their own app. So it's an app within an app.
Yeah.
We've got Appception, and I know iHeart has their own app, and
Yeah.
now that's in this app, and I would not be surprised if these other. So it's just why?
Because they
Probably
can.
just publicity.
Maybe-
It's showing up on there.
Yeah.
It's fairly prominent early on, so
High
get a few
cost.
more people to know it.
High cost brand deals. Maybe.
It annoys me a little bit. I don't know, personally.
Well, why would we need any other launcher besides a launcher that launches your launchers?
Yeah, and I mean, Epic is the launcher that I use for everything I do, just like everyone else. I mean, I guess kudos for them for trying to have more of a presence and compete with, I guess, Steam is the only really other competition. GOG.
Yeah.
You know?
They're definitely competing with Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
We've
Steam.
got some more news on that later on.
We do.
I know. I said my piece. I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like it, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Jared, because there's something else that people don't like.
Well, do tell.
76 players are the people I'm referring to, and 76 update the Steel Dawn. Steel Dawn? That was the name of it, right?
Nope.
No. Lock and Loaded.
Locked and Loaded.
That locked. Yes. I am paying attention to what's happening. Did you read any about this, Sarge? Like about the massive issues that people are having?
I've read into it and heard a lot of conflicting stuff, which is a bit annoying. So I'm not entirely sure what the issue is because it seems very different for various different people.
Yeah.
But the basic thing is, with the new scoreboard ranking up thingy, mannequins were a reward a short way into that. People then found when they put the same clothing onto multiple mannequins, you'd sometimes just, like, crash the game and not be able to log back in.
Yeah.
That was, like, the key thing, which seemed to be, like, a genuine problem that was happening and was reported and was very much like, yes, this is a thing that a small number of people are having due to this specific thing going on. We're looking into it. We're going to get a hotfix. But then it kind of snowballed into weird other stuff where the community managers... What's the quote here? Is affecting a very small number of players. They say currently around 100. In all instances that we've looked into so far, this has been related to the impacted character having items in its inventory that are duplicates as a result of exploits. So there was then the community manager saying, hey, a lot of this is happening because of it being exploited items, which were, like, glitched into existence. And, oh man, if only there'd been a YouTuber who for a few years have been saying, hey, maybe all the glitching and exploiting will have consequences.
Strange. I wonder what YouTuber that was. Maybe people should subscribe to his channel.
Yeah.
But it's also the case now that there's a lot of people who have been reporting different things. Like, some people have been claiming that, like, all files of theirs have been corrupted. Like, permanently.
Jeez.
Other people have been saying, oh, it's just if you are exploiting when it happens, and then the community managers are just saying, we're planning to hotfix it because there's a problem, but the problem hasn't been, like, narrowed down to exactly what it is. Ultimately, though, if you're playing 76, don't use the mannequins yet.
No, don't use the mannequins yet.
It appears to be a very complicated thing with a simple fix.
Yep.
Don't use mannequins until everyone says it's fine.
Yeah.
Because maybe it is just people who have been exploiting, glitching crazy who are suffering. Maybe it's people who have innocently ended up with stuff that's bad. And maybe there's multiple issues surrounding it. It could happen to anyone. Regardless, you don't use the mannequins, should be alright.
Was it one of you guys that talked about there being like a conspiracy theory with 76 that the mannequins are alive in the game? Have you heard about that?
It's not really a conspiracy. It's more of a, like, it's been a
Fan
thing
theory.
in previous Bethesda games.
Okay.
Caedo mentioned it in our, like, fan theories PIPCAST discussion bit.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
That's possibly
Because
where I heard it.
I distinctly remember shouting at you, I think, about it. Because it was like, oh, the mannequins moved ever so slightly, and I think I just shouted a lot. Because I find a lot of theories very dumb.
Well,
And I think I was in an angry mood that episode.
well, the reason I bring that up is just like when I first saw this story, I was like, mannequins are becoming self-aware. They're crashing people's computers. They are taking over. So there's a whole new
Yes.
conspiracy for any of you people out there who like that kind of stuff.
Oh no.
Watch your backs. They're coming for you.
Yeah. So I had one particular thing I wanted to complain about that they added to the game. That was another thing they're probably going to turn into a microtransaction. But because I've been calling it so far, at least I think so anyway. Because lunch boxes are
Some
in
of the
the
things.
Adam's shop now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got lunchboxes. They haven't done the legendaries, which was a thing I remember you being worried about, because they were in boxes.
Oh, that's right.
They haven't done
legendary
that.
rerolls
They've not gone
could
that
still
far.
be a microtransaction, though.
Yeah.
I know
It's not
for a
there
fact
yet.
that could be a thing.
I think that's the big one which you haven't hit the nail on the head yet, though.
Yeah.
And hopefully never do.
I hope not either. I hope I'm super wrong. I was looking at the top posts in the 76 subreddit just to check
Oh, Lord.
and see. The second one is F the effing trenches in effing Cranberry Bog. That's it. That's the post. And I agree.
Yep.
I don't like getting stuck on every little thing in a world when I'm trying to walk around or run.
If he goes with a Cranberry Bog without marsupial as well, you can't just jump straight out
Oh,
of the trenches.
dude, yeah, you're gonna hate everything.
Yep.
Like you... I forget some people just don't have it.
Yeah.
Like it's
I've got,
just...
like, I think one character that doesn't, and the odd time I've gone onto them, it's like, oh, wow, I'm stuck in, like, a 2-foot drop. Great.
I feel like marsupial is just par for the course. Like, it should be a question when you log in, or just given to you as you, like, first start your character, because it's so normal. But going back to the update, I saw a lot of discussions about disabling crafting for the throwable cleavers, because there was some sort of exploit related to those, another experience exploit where people could get like thousands of levels by and materials by crafting them using a specific magazine and then breaking them down with a scrapper perk as well. Obviously this has been disabled by the developers. Like, you can't do that now. I don't remember what magazine it was, but so yeah, there's another experience exploit where people were messing things up like that. What was the other thing? There was one more like issue. Oh yeah, things not respawning, and also the daily ops. One of the new ones doesn't have enough spawns. Like, you can't finish it in 8 minutes with a team that knows what they're doing. It's the stealth, or it's extremely difficult to do, to the point of lots of players complaining about it, because they're like, you should be stealthy when you're going to do these things, because like that's what what's his name tells you at the beginning of the mission, but you literally can't if you want to get a good time.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's even like a problem like a glitch or a thing. That's just literally, if you're sneaking, you're slow, and it's a timed event. So yeah,
maybe just improperly made. But like, even though when I was doing it, it seemed like it wasn't working as intended, or at least as it was presenting itself. So maybe that's another thing they gotta fix.
All I know from my one attempt on the new daily op was that it was the easiest it had ever been, and with a group of strangers, we annihilated it despite getting lost constantly.
Which
crazy.
one?
It was in the burrows. I can't remember exactly. I did it live, so there is a playback of it.
Oh,
on
it
my
was
past
that
live stream
one,
things.
yeah.
Yeah. It was the new one.
Yeah.
But in one of the old locations, which is a bit of a maze still. Anyway, carry on.
I also soloed it the first time, which is really hard.
Yeah.
That's hard to solo.
I think
that one.
soloing it on the new one is slightly easier, though, because you don't have to hang around in a location and have, like, a multiplier based on the number of people.
You don't, but you have to find all of the marked enemies. Which
you do.
by
but
yourself.
I think comparatively, fractionally easier to do it at a faster time. Still hard, regardless, but...
I still haven't beaten under 8 minutes, so...
Just need to get good, man. Just need to get good.
I don't think that's the problem. Because my melee was better with this update. So I was killing things faster instead of slower.
Yeah, but you have to run over to them and get them. Think about all the seconds you take up there.
I'm fast. I'm runny, jumpy, fast. Anyway, something that they're going to put in the item shop, probably their carry weight boosters.
Oh, yeah. Currently a reward on the scoreboard.
Yep. They increased your carry weight
drink
by
a thing,
50 for 30 minutes.
Yeah. It's a big old boost.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure, even though that's probably going to be in the bullion vendors too, kind of like the lunch boxes, it's probably going to be in the item shop as well.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised if... I'd imagine, like, towards the end of the year would be the time to add them.
God, but that didn't listen.
Bethesda did listen, and they were like, a few of you are complaining, and we're making a ton of money? Yeah, I think we can deal with a few people complaining.
Yeah, probably that. But yeah, I will say that the one thing that was good from the update was the melee improvements actually worked.
That is good.
And the game seemed to just like load and function in that sense a lot better.
No.
But also I was hearing issues about just like things being dead on the map and not respawning. So, or being dead on a server and not respawning. Treasure Hunter had become like the bane of so many people's existence because they would literally just stay dead and not respawn ever. This is hearsay though. This is just what I'm hearing. It could be exaggerated in some way.
It almost always is in the 76 community
I have
as
not
well.
been motivated to jump back into 76 because there's really not that much in this update, and it sounds like more broke than got fixed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
even though the
We're
one
waiting for
thing,
the content update.
yeah, even though the one thing that got fixed is something I wanted for like a year, if not longer. So,
How's
how can we
the
segue off of that?
does the update improve FPS in that 76 game?
It should have.
Well, you know what else has got
Oh,
some
man.
increased frames per second is
It was a
74
good
more
try, Jared.
games.
It was a good try.
Oh,
He's learning.
hey man.
No, Jared did a good one.
Someone-
You bundled it, Caedo.
Someone
Did I?
mentioned boost earlier, and I was like, that was it. And then the conversation kept going. I was like, dang it. That was the moment.
No, Jared managed to tee up a little one for you, and you were just like, yeah, I guess 76 should have got an FPS boost. Complete silence. Let's not talk about Microsoft adding an FPS boost to a bunch of games. Let's just leave it dead.
I love it. Yes, Microsoft has added the frames per second boost to 74 more games. Wow.
Yep, there are nearly 100 games that have got FPS boosted.
Can I get
Meaning you...
Can I get a list of those games?
Oh,
All of them? No.
I mean, yeah,
No.
there is a link. Here we go.
There it is, but I'm not... Oh, God.
Alien Isolation, Anthem, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Well, we're gonna need to do it fast.
Uh,
do you want me to speed it?
Yeah, just speed it up to 5 times speed and let me drink here.
I'm just
Oh,
kidding. I'm
God.
just kidding.
I'll make a song out of it.
Oh,
I'll
I
be your
wanna do
little
it now. I
song and
wanna do
dance
it. You
monkey
said it.
if it makes you happy, Caedo.
There's only 2 pages.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, what else is there more to talk about this particular subject? I mean, more frames is good, right? We all like 60
Yeah.
frames at least. We're all
Yeah.
Makes
entitled
things
to
look
it.
smoother.
We're all modern gamers.
Yeah,
Get with the program.
we deserve it because we're gamers.
And if you're playing on the Xbox, hey, a bunch of the old games you might like
Yeah.
are now looking better.
I like that.
I wonder if some of them could have that issue where the game speed is tied to frame rate,
Ooh.
so you just go faster.
Is that still a common thing?
I'm pretty sure Near Replicant had that.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was tied to
Because
FPS.
to me, that always feels like an old thing that they did in just strategy games and nothing else. Didn't future-proof them at all.
Yeah. Oh well, we're not done talking about Microsoft, are we?
Oh no, we're not done talking about Microsoft.
Oh.
Because Microsoft has done more good stuff.
Ah,
They are reducing how much money they're pinching from developers.
that's anti-corporate.
Yeah! Man, I love it when corporations are anti-corporate.
So what is this? What is this move? What is this? What are they doing?
So, previously, when Microsoft, through their PC store, sold games, they would take a 30% cut, same as what Steam does. Now, they are taking a 12% cut, which is less than half, which is very significant. That's like really significant. It's a lot of money it's going to be adding.
Yeah,
It doesn't actually come into effect yet, though. It starts in August, so
got a few months.
a little while to wait, yeah. But that is a good thing, and it's kind of following in the line of what Epic has done. Because Epic take the same cut to try and entice developers over and be like, hey, we won't take as much of your money if you come over to our platform. Steam, on the other hand, still does 30%, and their kind of way to stay competitive was they reduce it down to 25% after you hit $10 million in sale.
Wow.
And then cut it to an amazing 20% after you've hit $50 million in sale.
That is so generous.
You know? Yep.
It's not very
Yeah,
anti-corporate of Steam.
No, it's almost like Steam still just wants to keep all the money and is hoping that most players will just stick to Steam because it's the default launcher for PC these days.
Yeah, maybe not for long.
Hopefully. I know I've got a little bit of a reputation here as being the epic fanboy, I suppose. And I mean, half the news stories that I've added into this mention Epic in some way. But for me, it's literally a case of, I'm fine with using Steam. I just want this cut to continue across all of the platforms in which games are sold.
Yeah.
And seeing Microsoft do this is really heartening, because now it's no longer just Epic giving this lower cut. If Microsoft does it as well, if we can get most of the platforms going down to about a 12% cut, even if some of them go like, oh, we'll do 15% or whatever, that's still fine. That's better than a 30%. Hopefully, if enough of them do it, then Steam has pressure to reduce it as well, and they start giving developers more of a cut, and that's just good for getting the money, not so much to Steam, but more to the people who've made the game.
Yeah.
Which I'm on board with.
And they
I
deserve.
do think Steam deserves a cut, but
Yeah.
I think 30% is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And developers definitely deserve more for all the work that they do.
Yep.
Yeah. It's almost like Steam is a platform making money off of developers who should be making their own money.
But, I mean, it is a case as well of, it's not just us saying this. Developers have been polled, and it's 6% of them say that game stores in general are justified in taking a cut of 30% or higher. And Steam takes a cut of 30%. So only 6% of devs think that Steam are actually, like, earning that amount.
Wow.
Which is, a real low percentage.
Yeah, well, I think a big problem is, like, because, like, I deal with a lot of indie games, so I hear a lot of stuff from, like, indie developers and stuff, and something that happens with Steam, you know, if, like, it's just like any other algorithm. If you don't get a certain enough attention, it gets buried. So you got a lot of indie game developers, especially, that are coming up with these games. So not only are they getting less money for their game being developed, less people are seeing them because they're indie games, and it's getting buried underneath all the AAA titles and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I can definitely understand why developers would be like, not really seeing the value in what Steam is offering, at least from an indie game perspective.
That's for sure. I was kind of wondering, like, I don't know. Do you have any indie developers or, I guess, publishers that have, like, said anything, Jared, or is that?
Not
Is it
like
more just what
directly
you heard?
to me, but I follow a few, like, on Twitter and stuff like that, and whenever they're getting ready to release, like, a new game, they're like, hey, go wish list this game, otherwise it's going to get buried in Steam's library and no one will ever see it. Like, that's literally what they're saying, just to the world, on Twitter and stuff. But I mean, that tells me that happens, because wish listing is like liking a video on YouTube. It's part of the algorithm. So wish listing and pre-ordering and all that other stuff that you can do actually gives the developers' titles more attention and more likely to be, like, on the front page recommendation of Steam. It works almost the same way as, like, YouTube and its recommended video section, which is obviously much more difficult for an indie developer because they are making a game in their basement and no one's ever heard of them. So a lot of the time there's no pedigree to use as a reason to pre-order too. Yeah. Which, I mean, pre-ordering is bad anyway. Yeah. Making an indie product and it's, I don't see that. Well, that's just one example, but, like, wish listing, which, I mean, I do occasionally. That's something I do too, yeah. It's not something that I am used to thinking about, but it's something that I'm trying to think about more often, especially with indie games. Mostly from those comments that I've seen, like, on Twitter and stuff. It's like, oh, by doing this, it's helping these people. So it's like, yeah, I'll do it. This game looks interesting. It doesn't take a second to click add to your wish list, and it doesn't hurt me. So why not do it? And I'm helping them, in a way. So, well, that's... yeah, I definitely see why only 6% are like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
They may have been, like, successful too. Those 6%.
Yeah. It's hit or miss.
Yep. I'm glad Sarge see that one.
can't even take a drink.
How dare you? Captain Segway over here. Come on.
Oh, thought I had time, and now there's nothing to segue from. I can't do this. I mean, not everyone views these percentages of money in the same way. For some people, losing half of your paycheck would be life-ending. For Activision CEO Bobby Kotick, it's, oh no, I'm not as much of a millionaire anymore? What a shame. Hey, it's the best I can do.
That's
They
good.
threw that at me. But yeah.
Sounded great. You should do that more often.
Yes. The Activision is one of the biggest companies. I was going to say in gaming, it's probably just one of the biggest companies now.
Yeah.
Which is a bit ridiculous. And the CEO has been earning millions upon millions upon millions. And now he's had to have a bit of an agreement that his pay cut for his base salary is reduced by 50%, along with a bunch of bonuses being halved as well. Because there's a little quote in this article as well, which says, last month, an investment group slammed a pay package that would have seen the CEO receive almost $200 million in bonuses. Yeah. And the year before that, the same group suggested that a typical Activision employee could only make up to like 1/3 of a percent of what the CEO earned.
Why?
Yeah, that is not 1/3 of what he earned. It's 1/3 of 1%. That is 0.3 recurring percent of what the CEO earned. Your standard Activision employee was actually making.
Yeah.
Which is... He's basically now the poster child of the people up top taking all the money and the people actually doing the work getting nothing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So, my question is, if he's getting less money, are the people at the bottom getting less money? If they're getting a certain percentage of what he makes, him getting a cut, are they also getting...
Oh, no. It's not a case of, we pay our employees 0.3% of what our CEO makes.
Okay.
It's, here's your standard pay thingy.
Gotcha.
Oh, what do you mean the person in charge is a multimillionaire? Oh, okay, wait. He might even be a billionaire, to be fair.
I think he's a billionaire.
Probably by now.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was understanding that correctly or if that's how they did it in some weird way, but I was just thinking that sucks for them still, but if that's not the case, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, hopefully this will mean... Hopefully it could mean some of the developers will get better paid, but recently it was Activision Blizzard has had mass firings with about 8% of the workforce
So probably
being laid
more
off.
the opposite. Instead of benefiting anybody below him, which is not good.
And right at the end of the article, it also tells you how much he's now making, because previously his salary was $1.75 million. Just
It's a lot.
give a second. That's his salary, a yearly salary of $1.75 million. But now it's only $875,000.
Oh no.
But he has bonuses of up to 200%. So
he
can still earn that 1.75 million on top of his salary.
What is middle class average yearly? 30,000?
30, 40 maybe, if you're
30?
really on the top of the middle class.
If you're actually using your college degree.
Right.
40,000?
Yeah, exactly. That's like a 4-year degree.
Yeah. If you spent 4 years of your life as a gamble to get...
And you're lucky enough to find a job that will hire you.
Know. Oh, God. Oh, reality. I don't like being here.
Back to video games, quick.
Yeah. I, on a good year, make less than 1% of his salary.
Yeah.
It's kind of
crazy. Man.
It's crazy. It's so weird to think of the video game industry like this. Think of this industry as starting literally in people's basements and their garages, and now is this multi-billion-dollar industry with CEOs making ungodly, disgusting amounts of money, and the peon workers getting very little. It's just so weird to think of this industry like this. Mm-hmm. At least for me, because I've been gaming since the early 90s, you know, and I think gaming was starting to its climb probably in the 90s.
That was the
It
golden
still-
age.
Yeah, it was kind of the golden age. Was still very like mom and pop size almost. You know, companies like Activision and Bethesda and all these, they were all around, but they weren't nearly as big as they are now.
No, well, there was more of them too.
And yeah,
Like,
there was
now,
a lot
now there's
more
been
of them.
so many different mergings where, because like even Activision Blizzard, that's two companies fused together.
Yep.
And back then, EA wasn't that bad.
Yeah, Electronic Arts has devoured so many people.
Man, do you remember back when you used to hear EA, it's in the game, and have a good feeling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, cool.
God, that
I remember.
was-
I remember that.
Oh.
I remember DJ Atomica on the EA Sports games. Man, that was fun. He was a fun dude. I wonder what he's up to.
Probably grueling for some CEO. They get their bonuses.
Nah,
See,
well,
that's what's crazy to me is the amount of their money they're getting with just bonuses. It's just extra.
Yeah.
It's just icing on the cake. It's like, what? I don't even get a bonus, and I'm an essential employee.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
yeah.
I'm sorry, you don't fire enough people to earn a bonus, clearly.
I
That's
guess.
how it works.
Yeah. I don't crush enough poor people. The heel of
Yeah.
my...
Fire 500 people who are making a livable wage, and we'll give you an extra $1 million. How does that sound?
I'll get to work on it.
Can I? If we could go back to gaming for a little bit, that
Yes,
would be,
yes. Let's
that'd feel great.
let's.
Okay. Let's have a very short break before I bring my mood down again.
Okay. Speaking of gaming and gamers, Overwatch has been experiencing an influx of them for some reason. I didn't read the article. Why is that? Is it their loot boxes?
Not as such. It's... There was a free weekend, so first off, Overwatch has gained 10 million players in the last year, despite nothing new actually happening.
Wow.
But there was a free weekend which might have counted. There was a brief period when Overwatch was given away during a promotional thing, so that might have counted as well. But for the most part, it just sounds like a bunch of people have jumped into Overwatch and given it a try. There has been news, I say with big quotes, of Overwatch 2, which is basically like, hey, it's going to exist at some point. But yeah, it's pretty much just a case of Overwatch is a good game. Lots of people decided to give it a try. Probably wanted something to do, had the time to do it, and were like, yeah, Overwatch, I remember hearing about that and never gave it a try, or, oh, Overwatch, yeah, I should get back into that.
It's almost like
And-
people had a lot of extra time on their hands recently.
Odd.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
Yeah.
A nice big old player base influx. Definitely means everyone's getting a raise, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sure that these poor developers are not being overworked at all.
No.
Nope,
Not
they're
at
definitely not working more than 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Which, I'll be honest, when I read this, it felt like a low number, but then I realised that I'm a self-employed person who is kind of working all the time, so I can count myself as working like up to 100 hours a week at points. If I'm like, if there's a new release or something,
Yeah.
then yeah, I'll put in 100 hours in a week. And I was like, oh wait, that's not like an actual 9 to 5 work schedule that people should be having. So,
And
Right.
also not at the regularity of developers. We talked about this the last PIPCAST when Eddie was on for a bit about crunch. So the whole headline is nearly half of game devs work more than 40 hours a week. Survey finds from PC Gamer.
Yeah. They've got a little chart, which I do love,
Charts are good.
which has the percentages. It's a great chart, and it's actually like fairly balanced with a couple of spike bits. So 17% of game devs only work on average 0 to 20 hours per week. So there's a lot of game devs just kind of doing a little part-time thing. But then all the way from 21 to 25, 26 to 30, 31 to 35, that's all 5%, so very small amount. Then you jump straight up to nearly a quarter, 24% work 36 to 40 hours per week, and then 21% work 41 to 45 hours per week. Then you've got 12% working 46 to 50 hours a week, 5% working 51 to 55 hours a week, and 3% working 56 to 60 hours a week. And then 4% of game devs, so 4 out of 100, who work more than 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
I lost people with the numbers, didn't I?
Probably. I mean,
I definitely lost people with
we're
numbers.
not gonna have
Okay.
we're not gonna have the
chart.
the chart on the PIPCAST. So
Short thing is, 1/4 of developers say they average more than 46 hours per week, and 56% work average of 40 hours a week. So most of them working more than your standard 9 to 5.
yeah, and this is 12 months. This is a 12-month span.
Yeah,
I think that I don't know if you mentioned that part.
maybe.
It's measured in a 12-month span, so 1 full year.
Yeah.
With some people working over 20% working 46 hours to 60 hours, which is
I mean, for someone like me in my particular field of work, it's not unusual actually to work hours like that for some people.
for a year,
Huh?
for
Oh,
a
yeah.
full year.
Like for 20 years.
Jesus.
You know, there's employees that work at my job who've been there for 20, 30 years, and it's not unusual, but they get paid overtime, and that's what I'm curious if these EA, I got EA on the mind now. If these developers are working these hours, I hope they're getting paid overtime. They should be.
Yeah.
I think legally, if they're working over 40 hours, they have to be getting paid overtime. So it's not like they're probably not being compensated. I say probably because I don't know. Since we talked about some pretty dark subject matter for developers this PIPCAST,
Right.
for all we know, they're getting
It's
shanked.
like we just keep getting sucked back into it.
I know. Well, this sort of stuff needs to be talked about because I think people don't really think about it.
Yeah.
People just want their games. I don't know. I think there's a lot of jobs that are a lot more difficult than game development that are pretty regularly work more than 40 hours a week. I don't know.
But that
I've never worked
doesn't
on
make
games.
it okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know though. Like I said, if they're getting paid overtime, and if they have in a lot of instances, they may or may not have a choice. I don't know enough about.
I think the choice part is a big thing in it
Yeah.
as well. Like, if you decide, no, I really want to push hard on work, I'm gonna work the standard 40 hours, but I'm gonna do 20 hours of overtime because I'm loving what I'm doing and all this stuff.
They talk about
If you're being pressured into it, then
Well, that's totally different.
if the environment you work in is pressuring you into working 60-hour weeks on a regular basis,
Oh, that's horrible.
is that bad or is that good?
I think that's horrible. That's almost
Yeah.
like
So imagine where you work, like having that. I don't know if it does happen with the public
no,
transport
they
stuff, but
you can't be. They can't make you work overtime.
yeah, like they can't, like they're yeah. But if
most,
you're
and I
in-
think in most situations that legally is the case.
right.
I don't know how these development companies work, if they're considered private, or I doubt that because they're so big. There's probably rules in place to prevent that, but we always hear, horror stories. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I imagine a good chunk of them are private because they have internal issues that they solve
Yeah.
said way internally. So there was it was either a quote from this or from something else that I was reading, either related to CDPR or the Dying Light 2 developers, where they were being pressured into working way longer hours than they were supposed to be to get something finished, with the implication of getting overtime, but that being pressured instead of making that choice themselves,
Yeah.
which is not good or healthy.
No.
Especially when you have any sort of anti-confrontational feeling, as most people do, and it's, say, whoever is above you pressuring you into doing this job for ungodly hours. Like, it's gross.
I mean, it's also incredibly difficult to say no if this is your dream job. If you're I wanted to develop video games since I was a kid, saying no to working more of a job that you claim to love might be like, oh, so you don't actually want this job or whatever? And I remember in my old job, it was retail, and it was so easy to say no to extra hours, because I could be like, no, of course I don't want to work more, this is a terrible job, we all know it, and everyone was fine with that.
That's me
You
now.
can do that in the video game industry, yeah.
That's literally me
with
now.
like a standard person job.
I do not work
You can do that.
overtime. Screw that.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I think, while that's easy for us to do in most situations, it's a lot harder to do when you're into such a kind of competitive field where so many people are like so eager to get into it, and it is a dream for so many people.
I think it's very dependent. I think it's always, this sort of thing is always going to be dependent on specific situations relative to different. It's hard to blanket, but yeah, no, I agree with you guys completely.
Yeah. I don't like that kind of peer pressure going on in a workplace anywhere.
No.
It's so disgusting. Can we go to the next thing?
Okay. Hey everyone, guess what? We're out of Sarge's depressing news cycle. Caedo's got some stuff now, and it's much less sad.
This first one's a quick one. Sony registered a Sunset Overdrive trademark. Sunset Overdrive was I think the first exclusive that Insomniac did with the Xbox. And Insomniac is responsible for the Ratchet and Clank series. Like, they've pretty much always been like launch title developers for the PlayStation. But Sunset Overdrive was kind of outside of that, and was a very colorful, bonkers zombie kind of game. I don't know. I can't really describe it very well. It had a lot of
radical.
It was radical. It was pretty rad. It was pretty crazy, and you were shooting zombies the zombies were caused by like a soda or something like that.
Yep.
Like it
was from
it was nuts.
Energy drink that turned you into a monster.
Yeah. So
no idea what the name of it was.
A lot of fourth wall breaking, a lot of jokes that didn't quite land, but the gameplay was a lot of fun. So there was that. So Sony registered the trademark, so they might have Sunset Overdrive at some point, maybe a sequel, maybe a re-release on Sony. I don't know. I kept hearing that trademarks happen so regularly with companies that they just may want to keep the property and not do anything with it, which is definitely possible.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I literally was watching a video kind of about that last night, and I just felt sad.
But we're not being sad right now.
We're not being sad.
No, this is happy time. Happy time. Let's talk about video games.
Something else happening with Sony is we got a preview of Lost Soul Aside. This is a hack and slash action type game that has been in development for a long time, and development started with one dude playing around with the Unreal Engine. And now he's got a team of its own thanks to Sony money, and it's looking great. There's an 18-minute gameplay preview linked in the description.
I will say I love the fact that they've actually just gone, oh, here's some gameplay, here's a big chunk of gameplay. This is what you can expect.
Yep.
Rather than just, oh, here's a kill cam and a cinematic and a shot of the protagonist.
Yeah.
It's actually like, no, here, you can get an idea of what the game might actually be like.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
And
more of that, please.
Yeah, and you were able to tell that it was still a work in progress, too. Like, it wasn't, I don't know, CDPR-ified. I don't know what else you want to call it. Because while there is some illusion done with using the word gameplay and making a gameplay trailer, this one actually looked like it was gameplay from a game in the works, instead of just a really doctored up version of someone's pseudo gameplay. So yeah,
they basically just made sure there's not a HUD and then played the game.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And then some things did look more rough than others, which, doesn't happen as much when they do gameplay previews like this. But yeah, I do recommend it if you're into Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, or like it was almost at the level of Metal Gear Rising, more so, I think, with its ridiculous really really big action set piece type things. Do recommend checking it out if you're into any of that genre. And then we had a trailer and some more gameplay from other things. So Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade got its final trailer where it's showing the PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake with updated graphics to run on the PS5 and look better and stuff, and also the Yuffie DLC that comes along with that. If you're getting the entirety of Intergrade, it is like a free upgrade if you already own the game, but you have to get the Yuffie DLC separately. I hope I explained that right. But they showed a few more scenes from her DLC as well. Not really thrilled with the characters they're using. Not at all. As Dirge of Cerberus characters, Dirge of Cerberus is not a good game. It's like the I think I've already used this association. It's the Brotherhood of Steel of Final Fantasy VII. It's trying to be something and it's just not doing it. But yeah, it was using characters from that game, and like maybe if Dirge of Cerberus was better, those characters would be more accepted. But it's the fact that they're attached to a game that wasn't that good, or they're just shoehorned in characters and rebirthing them in a different form, which is kind of annoying when games do that sometimes.
I mean, the remake is just, hey, we've got an idea of what the old plot was, and here's a bunch of characters we can use. We're making a new game out of this, basically, is what it's turning into.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the Yuffie DLC is already what they want to do is, I'm sure, is add more character to these characters and more story and stuff like that. And because Yuffie was an optional character, they only have really Dirge of Cerberus to go off of because Vincent was too. Yeah. And there's only so much time you spend with those characters compared to the introductory group of the original Final Fantasy VII story. So I guess they're working with what they have to be something acceptable that's in that weird gray area of, oh, these are optional characters. This is their story while everything else is going on. Something like that. But yeah, I think FF7 Remake is going to still follow what the original's kind of story was, but it's going to have a lot of extra on top of that because they destroyed Fate or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or you could go crazy tinfoil hat and be like, this is Advent Children Sephiroth and he's changing the timeline. So, and it could be that too. We'll see. I enjoyed the remake so far, so we'll find out. There's another action-focused game that had some gameplay released that's actually coming out this month, and that is Biomutant. Yeah. And you know what, Fallout fans? I hope you're Fallout fans. This is a post-apocalyptic game. With, like, human ruins, but you're playing as a little furry creature that wields swords and guns that are fully customizable. And you have a class system, and it's an RPG, and it's an open world. It's like all the things that we like.
It's third person.
Yeah.
Except that it's third person. That's whatever. Fine, Sarge.
Not to be the usual I agree with Sarge person, but I agree with
Well, I'll play it and report on it, okay?
Please
you guys
do.
Don't
like
have to.
It does look unique, but like watching, like I have it on right now, and it doesn't really, nothing really pops out at me as like, oh, this is gonna be super cool.
Yeah.
It just looks kind of like I have to wait and see, I guess.
I'm not gonna pre-order it though. I'm definitely not gonna pre-order it. I am, however, if I do dig it, I am, however, going to make a video on it if it does become a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
10 plus tips and tricks or something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd be definitely interested to hear what you have to say about it, and I trust your judgment. So if it sounds like something that'd be interesting, then what? Did you ask me why? Because you're a colleague and I respect your opinion, sir.
Well, why though?
And you're just go
Thank
with
you.
it. Just
Thank
take
you.
the compliment. Jeez.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you.
Too late.
I appreciate you too.
I rescind it. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
So Biomutant-centric kind of thing. It's called Biomutant because while you start as a particular creature, you can get mutations and cool changes with your character as you progress through the game. And that's not unlike our topic.
Wow. That's pretty
Related
good.
to-
Well done, Caedo.
Thank you. I was going to let you take it from here. Before I ruin the rest of it.
Oh man, I wish you wouldn't, because I don't have a jumping off point now.
Thought you had like an intro.
I did, and the intro was not planned for a segue, because I didn't think Caedo would have one.
Aha!
Oh, man.
Oh, I underestimated you to my folly. Oh. Right. Well, I want to take everyone back. The 2010s, let's say. Just think back. Remember that time. You were me in high school. And
No,
you
I
heard your
wasn't.
friends. Yes, you were. Shh. And you heard a couple of your friends talking about a video game
Oh.
called Fallout 3. You'd never heard of Fallout before, because you're a loser and didn't have a gaming console that could run a Fallout game, because they were all PC or for the modern consoles, which you didn't have. So you listened, and you heard one of them talk about the game, and like its unique selling point at that time was that this person had mutated and got like an extra arm growing out of him or something, and that sounded awesome. And you were like, man, in 3 years, when I leave this place and run away, I'm gonna buy Fallout 3. And that's what you did. You booted up the game, you did all the stuff, you got mutated, and an arm did not stick out of your character, apart from the two that already do. And it was so disappointing.
Yep.
And I say no, that needs to change. Fallout needs a new mutation that sticks an arm out of your chest and you can wield a bonus weapon.
The
Yeah.
third arm mutation.
Yep, it needs to happen. That is literally a true story of how I got introduced to the Fallout franchise.
Oh.
By being
And it was
lied
based
to.
off of lies.
By being
Yes.
lied to. No wonder you didn't like it the first time you played it.
I really didn't like Fallout 3. I was like, why the hell am I a baby? Where's my third arm? What's going on? Wasn't a fan of any of it. But now, I'm going to rectify the mistakes that were made. And I want a mutation where you manage to get literally a third arm growing out of you that can wield a bonus weapon.
Okay, so
Right on.
it should be... I see where this discussion is going and I like it a lot. So it can be a function of the mutation, which we would like to see, as well as a visual change to our character, because that does need to be a thing.
Yeah, because 76 does have mutations, and there's some really cool ones. We mentioned Marsupial earlier, but they don't actually change how you look at all. You can have literally every single mutation, and you look no different to an unmutated human.
Yeah,
Boring.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Like, I kind of understand why, given at how quickly you can gain and lose mutations in 76, but I feel like on a single-player game, I'd like mutations to be more of a permanent thing that's a lot harder to get rid of and a lot harder to obtain as well, and make it a bigger kind of set-piece moment, rather than just, hey, I'm just going to drink a mutation serum that was on sale for 100 caps because people can just brew these like crazy.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
Yep. And with that, you can make more advanced mutations, rather than, oh, you get a bit of extra jump height, but you lose some carry weight, or I can't even remember what Marsupial actually has a debuff. But instead of, like, just
it's lower intelligence.
traits... Lower intelligence, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of them just essentially being traits that you earn through mutations and rads, I'd like them to be, like, more set-piece things, still earn them through radiation or something like that. But the third arm idea is one I'm 100% doubling down on, because I would love it if the arm you weren't in complete control of. You can give it a gun, makes you better in combat, but you never quite know what it's gonna do.
But sometimes it'll shoot you in the foot.
Yes, it's just, you give it the gun, and you can choose to take away the gun, which you might want to do if you go into, like, a big, crowded, civilized place. Because this arm doesn't have eyes. It doesn't even have a brain, really. It's just an extra arm. All it really knows is pull trigger. And it will do that sometimes. And in combat, that's great. You get extra bullets going. Perfect. When you're in the middle of a conversation with someone, and your third arm shoots them, Oh, that's not going to go down well.
What if it's like mid conversation with like a raider boss or something like that, and it just skips the fight entirely by shooting them in the head by accident?
Oh, that'd be perfect. Yes. Yes. God. I know I say this every couple of weeks, but Bethesda, please do just hire me as like a consultant and let me talk to you about my third arm. Ooh.
Out of context.
Might want to work on how you.
Might want to work on your
Nope,
presentation.
I'm emailing them now and telling them just that. Bethesda, can I show you my third arm, please? It's really cool. You'll like it.
And that's how Sarge was blocked by Bethesda.
What do you mean I'm not allowed to play any of your games anymore? What did I do?
Banned permanently.
Yep. Blacklisted. Boom.
Oh.
I think this is a cool idea. I like the idea of like a physical altercation. You could even have like more of a almost like an X-Men type of thing. You know, they've all got mutations and they all look different. You know, if you had like a strength mutation, you'd be all big and bulky and beastly, or you know, if you've got this and that and the other, you know, your third arm. I think that'd be really
I do
cool.
think as well the thing that 76 does, where you do have a disadvantage as well as the advantage, is good. So, for example, the big bulky one, maybe that stops you from being able to wear a bunch of armor,
Right.
or at least reduces the effectiveness of it. Because a standard combat chest piece, sure, that covers a human well enough, but if you're like twice the size because you've got huge muscles, then you've got your flanks exposed completely, because you're now wearing almost a bikini that is a combat armor chest piece.
Yeah.
So,
As
essentially
opposed
like
to
the
something that
Hulk
fully covers
and his
you.
shorts.
Yeah.
Or what's his name in the Umbrella Academy? The big dude.
I haven't
I
seen
can't
it.
remember his name,
With
but I know who you're
with
talking
the
about.
ape DNA.
Gorilla Man.
Gorilla Man.
Man, I love Gorilla Man. Such a good show he was in. That's why we know the names of all the characters. and
Yeah.
I've forgotten every
He was
single one.
the space ape. Yeah.
Yeah. Gorilla Man that lived on the moon.
Yeah. Yep.
It's great.
And then has daddy issues,
Yep.
like the rest of them. That's the plot.
Yeah.
Watch Umbrella Academy. It's pretty great.
It is good.
But yeah, he's like 3 to 4 times the size of everybody else, like in width. So like, that would make sense. Like, or just the inability, like your lower extremities could be covered by armor, but like your chest and arms you just couldn't wear anything, but you would have like a bonus to like natural armor as well as
Bit of natural toughness.
just damage dealing. Like you could break walls down or something like that.
Right.
You could Kool-Aid man through walls.
Oh yeah.
Just huge amounts of strength.
So like each mutation would come, like you said, with its own pros and its own cons. I like that.
Yeah.
And maybe it would
Yeah.
would eliminate a certain tree of another direction. Like if you've got a choice between being bulky or agile, obviously if you take bulk, you don't get the agile. My question to you is, would you want these mutations to be interchangeable? Or is it permanent once you've made your choice, you are mutated? Or
I'd want it to be almost permanent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking similar to an extent of becoming a vampire in Skyrim.
Okay.
Like, there's a way to get rid of it,
Okay.
but it is
But
not easy.
but it's a one-time deal too. I think that's important as well. Like it's a one-time
Yeah,
deal
I
to
think you
reverse
can do
the
it as a
effects of
one-time deal.
something.
Okay. So you get
I'd like there to be like a wasteland doctor with like a very specialized medical place who is like, I can cure you. Give me a lot of caps. Please don't kill me. You are horrifying. Something along those lines.
because you know there's gonna be some scientist somewhere in wherever this hypothetical game takes place, who's dabbling in mutations. There's gonna be someone who's doing it.
Well, Big Mountain kind of like makes it completely wacky in the sense that pretty much anything is possible when it comes to sci-fi science. So like that could be easily explained away in some stupidly hilarious line of discussion. So
Oh, yeah.
Some sort of Fallout manner.
yeah. Like the dude with the ants in Fallout 3. What's
Yeah.
and
Ant-Man.
yeah. Yeah, see the queen. Get her biometric data or whatever. I don't remember.
Were
what he
they
said.
actually mutants or were they just insane? I don't remember.
The scientist?
Well, they were...
Wasn't it like a bee person and like an ant person who were fighting each other?
No, that was the
Or am I getting stuff
the
mixed up?
mechanist and the
Oh,
ant.
okay.
And
Ant-Knight?
antagonizer.
That's it.
Antagonizer.
That's what I was
it,
thinking
yeah.
of.
No, it's the fire ant person we're thinking of, right?
Yeah.
The one that mutated the ants so they breathe.
Oh, yeah.
They basically have flamethrower
I
males.
remember now.
Yeah, he was incredibly smart, but also stupid.
Yeah.
Because if you pulled an intelligence check on him, you'd be like, so you didn't experiment on these ants in a controlled environment. He was like, no, I got too excited. You're just like, wow, you're dumb and smart.
You're the dumbest smart person I've ever met.
Yeah, that's frick.
That is something I can't remember.
I know what movie it is. iRobot. That was iRobot. That was Will Smith talking to the science lady.
Yeah.
Gasoline explodes, you know. There was a lot of fun lines from that movie. Anyway.
Anywho.
I do have a couple more mutations to
Yes,
pitch.
do it.
Do it.
And something to segue
Bring
off of
it.
that as well with. First off, wings.
Yes.
Big old wings on your back. Can't have chest armor anymore because they are like huge and literally growing out of
Armor
your
is
back.
not designed for humans to have wings. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can cover your arms, can cover your legs, but the chest now is pretty much just like, yeah, we've not got anything for you. You can't even put a t-shirt on. You have to go bare chest.
And it can't be paired with the strength mutation.
Well, I was gonna say
Oh.
you can pair mutations, and I was even thinking like those two, but there's also unique debuffs you get for that. So, for example, if you're flying and the wings are your only mutation, you can fly around pretty fast, you can get a decent bit of height and stuff, you can get going.
Okay, I see where you're
When
going.
you're strong, though, it's closer to levitating, because those wings have a lot more mass they're dealing with. Like, sure, you can fly over ditches and stuff, but you're not going to make it to the top of a building with your wings.
Yeah.
They cannot handle all that extra weight.
And maybe
And I think, like, logical debuffs like that would be kind of
yeah, and maybe an alternative would be if you went with not taking mutations, there would be a jetpack option which would give you a similar effect, but you wouldn't have that bonus strength from the big arms thing.
Yeah. I think also making it so that mutations on a you must get thing, like in 76 where you get Speed Demon and Marsupial. That's just straight up. Like, basically everyone gets them because they're almost requirements, they just make you so much better. And I think in a single player game it's also easier to put like disadvantages to it.
I just realized
as well as like the trait function. Oh, carry on.
I just realized the Speed Demon downside just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. It's ridiculous. But yeah, as well as the trait function of like, oh, you get a debuff along with this big bonus. Factions like the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave and anti-mutant factions should fully hate you.
They would.
And if you're visually mutated, it's so much easier for them to just go, you're a mutant, we're not letting you in. Also, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, shoot on sight. There would be several of those, I'm sure.
I think that makes the decision between, oh, do I want to join the Brotherhood and be in like some power armor with a jetpack, which lets me fly and be strong, but not as strong as a mutant or as good at flying as a mutant, but I'm also not annoying this faction, which path do I want to take? And then you have choices related to a gameplay mechanic, which impact your decisions on the story and routes that you can take throughout it. It also incentivizes going to the mad doctor who is scared of you but will unmutate you one time, because maybe you've decided after being a mutant for ages, you want to get rid of your giant muscles, and be like, hey Brotherhood, you remember me? I mean, you've never met me before, I'm just someone coming by to say, hi, can I join please? I'm not a mutant. I may let you in.
And there's also should be mutations that are internal or easier to hide. Because that would
Do
make
you have
it.
any good ones you can do examples of?
Yeah, I do actually. The
Yeah.
XCOM Enemy Within introduced gene mod therapy or something like that. They had gene mods and the mechs, which were like two of the coolest things you can add to a strategy game that's already cool. Like the mech suit was essentially you're removing your unit's arms and legs, like they're irreparably changed. Irreversibly, there's the word.
Okay.
Immersive. Irreversibly changed in order to fit into these mech suits. Like they in order for the mech suit to work, they have to integrate their arms and legs into the mech. So they're basically a torso with robotic arms and legs.
So they're cybernetic.
Yeah, they're cybernetically enhanced. Whereas on the gene mod side, it is an irreversible procedure. So where it is changing your unit's genetic makeup to make them more like the aliens that you're fighting. which is some sort of morality kind of thing. But one of the options for gene modifications was secondary heart, which is essentially revives you if you die.
Oh yeah.
Which is really cool as a mechanic for a game both like XCOM or anything strategic based that's really hardcore and your units die a lot. And even in a single player situation like that could help with incentivizing the risk reward type builds that I'm usually not into playing very much. Because the perks that are like you need 30% health or less to do this kind of thing, like Berserker or whatever. That would incentivize it more because you would have a little bit less risk, but like once your secondary heart triggers, maybe it can't like activate again, or maybe it can't activate until you do something like have a cooldown time or something like that. I'm sure something else could
I'd imagine there needs to be a cooldown on a lot of healing.
There would be, yeah.
To get your first heart back and working.
You would get like a like an endurance debuff or something like that until you went to go see a doctor, like after the fact or something. Like that would be something pretty cool, I think. I don't remember what the other ones. Another one was very much like Marsupial for XCOM. Like they had to have that.
No.
Like your sniper now has super legs. They can jump any height, and you're like, oh well, I win the game.
It almost sounds similar to like what I'm envisioning in my head for something like that. It's almost kind of like what Cyberpunk did with the upgrades you could get. You could get the the stronger muscle system or the adrenaline system or whatever. I can't remember everything. It's been a while since I played it, but kind of similar.
Yeah.
To that,
it's cyberware, but genetic.
Yeah.
Or genetic modification instead. And I think we could include both too. Because Fallout is so broad in the sci-fi things it can include. Like we've already got cyborg perks and stuff like that. So
maybe that's the anti-mutant.
We could always talk about cybernetics in maybe the next episode of PIPCAST.
Yeah, we could.
Now going to want to listen to, right?
That's a good idea, Jared. Let's write that one down actually right now.
Totally a good idea that I did on purpose.
Just play it off like you knew what you were doing. That's how YouTubes do it.
That's how the YouTubes do it. It's all part of the master plan.
Yep.
But I mean,
this is all scripted.
It actually, yes. Dang it! You didn't send me the updated script. Dang. I think it actually only makes sense to talk about like a cybernetics. Like when you were talking about the mech thing in XCOM, I was like, that's super cool. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that could be like the alternative or the anti-mutant part of the story. Like, oh, you can have these mutations, or you can join us and we can give you X-ray vision through a
they can make that a faction thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's for next time.
Yeah, I've already got all of my stuff prepared for that one. We'll have to do it next. We got more mutations to talk about first.
Okay.
Then we talk about the cybernetics.
Yes.
I also kind of like the idea with some of the mutations being hidden, some of them being more obvious. Maybe having like tiers of mutations, and like you have some lower level ones. Like I was thinking, antennae eyes, where basically your eyes can stick out and look around corners, or just something minor like that, which is a mutation you can hide fairly well. It gives you a very small bonus, and maybe there's like not much.
Only if you're wearing a hat or a helmet, you can hide them.
I was thinking like they still go in your eye holes, but they can like be pushed out. And then maybe you just can't wear glasses.
That'd be
like nothing covering your eyes, like a very minor little tier 1 mutation.
That'd be great.
Then you move up to like the tier 2 stuff, which is like the second heart, and then the tier 3 stuff, which is you are a giant, basically super mutant.
I was gonna do the flip side of that, like if you had reptilian eyes. It took me so freaking long to come up with the word. And the opposite of the antenna eyes, where you would have to wear like sunglasses or something like that to keep yourself from being attacked by certain factions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that would be
cool. Obviously a fairly simple one.
They would have to actually implement a system where you can conceal yourself, which I think we've talked about in other PIPCasts about having a system where you can conceal certain actions, and that's how people will either know you by or not know you by. So there would definitely have...
I mean, with some of these, it's very simple. Like the reptilian eyes one, they can literally just put in like a bonus effect into sunglasses and other similar things, which hides that. I figure that would be a simple thing. And then have just like two distinct behaviors for mutated and unmutated interactions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could just go full Geralt and just not give a crap.
Yeah.
They like fear and respect you type situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which, you know, if you had a fancy, like, 4-point axis reputation system, would be fairly easy, I'd say.
Yeah, it would, actually.
but it would also depend on just, like, the world that this would be built around. Like, is this particular part of the world, is mutations normal? If it's normal, then having some mutations maybe would not be so weird. But if it's not a normal thing, then yeah, maybe you would consider a way to hide it or not. I think it would really depend on the world and the story and the lore and everything going on in that particular region.
Yeah. I think no matter what, it's good to have a mix as well, where some people are like, hey, you're a mutant, well, guess what we are too. We welcome you with open arms, and then you have a brotherhood who just go, pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, things like Underworld
making sure that's
and Jacobstown and places like that, where
Yeah.
where they're more about like just accepting everyone kind of thing as they are. Yeah, that would be more.
And I'm sure there'd be
beneficial.
some towns that are like, we don't trust you mutants, you know, just like you said, Witcher style. Like, oh, we don't trust you muties.
Yeah.
We don't like your kind here. And they try to run you out. But you're huge like the Hulk, so they're really dumb for trying.
and then you cut them in half diagonally and scare everyone.
Yeah, and you become the butcher of...
Blaviken. Yeah.
I was trying to think of something else Fallout, but yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of one as well for Fallout.
But who knows where
Butcher
the hypothetical game would be taking place.
Butcher of the Brotherhood.
There we go.
There we go.
I wonder about the visuals too. Like, I'm sure it would be like a developmental nightmare trying to trying to graft these extra bits onto the player character's skeleton, dependent on the player character's like build. Like because Fallout 4 had a little bit of extra sliders for body type, and man, I wonder how difficult that would be when you start adding more limbs.
Yeah, they might have to
Think it
sacrifice.
can be quite a challenge.
Yeah.
You might have to sacrifice like how much you can actually customize your character at the beginning, so that you can customize it later on. Maybe I don't know how people would feel about that though.
I think this is a reason why it should be like a big set piece thing as well. Like I said earlier, rather than it being the 76 version where you can just change it any time, it needs to be like really kept off and somewhat limited, because no matter how it's done, if we want it done right in this way, then it's going to be a huge pain. But having it be like, oh, suddenly you're huge, oh, suddenly you've got wings, that just wouldn't work.
Right.
It need to be like, I picture it as well as like a full cutscene that allows you to transition from Atlas, which is the standard default character, to who is the standard mutant character template that they have for you.
Yeah. So do you think it would be better to limit to like one like tier 3, like your tier system? Like it would be best to limit to one tier 3 mutation at a time?
I think there's like multiple ways to potentially do it. In my head, I'd have it as a kind of, well, maybe a background or maybe a foreground, like rating element where it's like, you are 0 out of 10 mutated at the start. A tier 3 mutation could be anywhere from like a 7 to a 10, depending on how significant it is. Tier 1 mutation could be like a 1 to a 3, and then mid takes the middle amount. And you can mutate yourself up to 10. The more mutated you are, the worse it gets for you as well as getting the bonuses. Like, if you're 10 out of 10 fully mutated, maybe you take random damage because your body just can't handle it. And sometimes you'll just start bleeding or, like, have tears come across your skin, or your heart stops for a minute because it's just like, oh, are we alive still? I think we're alive. Oh, well, maybe. Oh,
That'd be funny.
what's going on? So I think Yeah, I think there needs to be a limit to how mutated you can get, and I wouldn't want it to be like, oh yes, I'm giant man with wings, antenna eyes, reptilian antenna eyes, jumpy legs, extra hand coming out of my chest. You wouldn't want everything all at once, but I do definitely want there to be combinations you could get going. Like I said with big muscles and wings, I'd say that's a 10 out of 10. Say big muscles is like 6, and the wings are a 4 or something. That's like you fully mutated with just 2 mutations. You couldn't have anything else, and there's a bunch of debuffs to it. But if you just went for like a few low-level ones, like the antenna eyes, maybe it's poison nails or something weird like that, and gills, let's say.
Yeah.
So you have those ones. They're all pretty minor ones, and you can kind of get by it pretty easily.
Yeah.
I think the higher rating ones as well would be more big visual things. Like the ones I just mentioned then. The poison nails you wouldn't even notice.
Right.
Maybe a slight colour change. The eyes, a very small change again, and gills is literally a few lines down your neck.
Or
wings are
like, it depends on what kind of gills we're going for too. Like, what's his name from
Waterworld, Kevin Costner, right?
No, Kevin Costner. Well, it could be that one too. It could be like behind the ears, or it could be along the ribs. Like, what's his name in The Boys?
Oh yeah, nah, he's an idiot.
I know he's an idiot, but I'm just talking about the visual choice of where to put them, because that's closer to your lungs too, which makes a lot more.
Hey,
to me.
I have neck space. I've got a big neck, alright. I've always thought it's a bit wasted. There's only hair that grows on it. I want some gills in here,
it's harder to conceal gills if they're on your neck. So, like, I would go with behind the ears or like along the rib cage, because that's easier to conceal if that's what you're going for.
If they're just down, like flat, you can just be like, yeah, I've got some scars on my neck.
But what if they see him move?
Have them only move underwater.
Well, it's an involuntary movement, so
I'd
like breathing.
You can hold your breath
the whole time. Hold your breath.
It's gills. You're still able to breathe. You still got standard lungs. You're semi-aquatic, not actually a fish.
I wonder how that would actually function, but I don't want to get too much into biology.
This is Fallout. We don't need to. I'm doing it.
Oh boy. And that's all the time we have for today. Oh my gosh.
Okay, fish actually force the water to go through their gills, so it sounds like it's more of a,
It's just physics.
It is voluntary then.
They push, and it opens because the force of the water and whatnot being pushed through them. They don't actually... It's not like a submarine where they open the bay doors, push the water. It's just they open when the biology happens. So I don't think they actually open and close like involuntarily. I think it's just physics. That's my guess. Welcome to Biology Hour with your hosts.
If it was physics, they wouldn't move when they're on the surface.
Right. I think that's...
Have you seen a fish out of water? It does try to breathe.
Right. But again, we're not talking about...
but that's because it's literally dying.
Yeah, we're talking about amphibian, not full fish.
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay.
I know nothing about marine biology, so don't question me.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong.
Don't at me. I'm not a marine biologist.
Exactly. This is literally the first time I've ever thought about this in my entire life.
Any marine biologists in the chat, don't add us.
Yeah. No, please do add us. I'd like to learn.
No, we're going to be ignorant. We're going to imagine fish voluntarily or involuntarily breathe.
It's... yeah.
I think regardless, for the purposes of a video game, you could pretty much make it work how you wanted.
Yeah,
right.
So I don't think it needs to be a huge thing.
That was a fun side tangent.
Did somebody mention developmental nightmare earlier? Definitely feels like that.
Hey, game devs, you shouldn't work so much. On the other hand, please, gills.
I want a key button on my keyboard that's mapped for opening and closing those gills, dang it.
That's right.
I want that immersion, and I want it now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or it's trash. Well, what do you guys think about, like, because we mentioned earlier, I think before we even did the PIPCAST, when we were talking about the subject, like how Bioshock does mutations, where you, like, and it's much simpler. I don't know, maybe 76 is more like that than
Yeah,
where you just
I think
inject
that's
yourself
closer
and
to the
then you can
76,
shoot
but-
fire from your hands, or you can shoot bees from your hands, or I can't remember. It's been a while since I played BioShock, but
I remember that because it's horrific.
just
I feel like it's much more fantasy as well.
yeah, that's why I'm
Where it's
bringing it
worth
up.
remembering that Fallout is more sci-fi leaning.
I certainly prefer the idea of that we've been talking about to that in this regards. I was just curious what you guys thought, and maybe the people listening, if they had an opinion on it.
What I do like the idea of is having that as kind of like a parody rip-off version of Mutation.
Okay.
And having it be like well known within the world that Mutations is going, and someone sets up the Emporium of Mutations, where it's like, just drink this and you'll get mutated, and it's just like really bad radioactive
Or-
water, and it might mutate you.
Or maybe they're
if
like
you-
temporary mutations. Like you shoot, bam, inject, I've got, bam, a little bit of fire or whatever, but it goes away. It's like you said, they're like cheap knockoffs, but they don't last forever. It's just like a potion of fireball in Skyrim.
But yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of cool. I think
That
so.
would be.
I'm trying to think of like how practically you could make it work.
I think.
And I was just imagining like injecting gasoline into your arm. And then just
Well, it's obviously
out
a
and
scientific
fly to
thing.
match.
Like there's some mad scientist who's like, I've got injections that give you mutations. It's legit. Try. And you're like, cool. I had to pay only 50 bottle caps for this. Let's see what happens. Oh no, my arm's
Like-
on fire, but it did the job. It sucks, and maybe I took some damage, but I needed it in a pinch or something, and I'm not
I
willing
think
to go full mutant. I don't know. Spitballing here, guys.
personally, I quite like the idea of it being a con man who doesn't actually know what they're doing, and just like it could work due to radiation in the Fallout universe being so weird.
That works.
So it's like an injectable loot box.
Oh God.
Oh,
Cut the stream.
Oh.
Cut the stream.
said it's over. Scrap the idea.
So it's like you got a 60% chance of pride and accomplishment, 40% chance of death.
Oh.
Shoot.
Sorry, I just ruined the whole idea.
That's the most depressing thing we've talked about today.
Yep.
Oh well. What about tails? Tails are pretty cool. They can do lots of different things.
Tails are great. Oh, I could have a monkey tail and like cosplay as his name.
Yeah, you could.
Oh man,
So
that would be fun.
there's if verticality is introduced with actual like climbing and junk in a Fallout game, that would serve some benefit.
Could you imagine ladders in a Fallout game?
Yes.
I know we've
I
just
want
been going
them so
kind of crazy
bad.
about mutations, but let's go one step further and pretend ladders can
I-
work.
Whoa. Let's not get out of hand here, guys.
After playing Far Cry New Dawn and I don't know,
Yeah.
Stalker and I played so many games with ladders that weren't Fallout.
How about just a mounting system where you can jump up on a ledge and lift yourself up?
I think we can all agree Fallout does actually need to be part of the modern movement mechanic.
Right? It's a little bit of,
Games.
little bit of
Perhaps.
parkour never hurt anyone.
Let's just imagine for since the beginning of the topic we were assuming that Fallout was more advanced or as advanced as some of the other first person games out there at the same
Yeah,
time.
we're talking about a Fallout game that's releasing like 5 years from now, so it's gonna be up to the standard of modern games.
It has radio menus, it has working ladders,
Wow.
it has
the
vehicles.
dream. Literally the dream right there.
It has what's the word? I always forget the ledge climbing. What's the
It's mantling.
mantling? God,
Mantling. That's it.
yeah.
Mounting is what I said.
Mounting.
That could be taken out.
Oh,
Diff-
I'd also correct that in my brain. I thought you said it right.
It's
But yeah,
it.
I was thinking of like making it a bit easier for the tails idea, maybe even wings, different types, so they could still use the same model but design them a different way, or like the same skeleton, I guess, for the character. Now I'm kind of thinking on the helping
you
the
could
devs
just have it
side.
as skins that you can get as a downloadable pack.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Tail armor DLC.
I wasn't going that way.
Oh, and the tail armor DLC just goes on the very tip of the tail. Just like a $5.
Yeah.
Just like a thimble.
You get
put on
shiny
the
silver or shiny gold. Take your pick.
tail jewelry, tail piercings.
Oh my god.
There's some Bethesda dev listening right now just being like, "Ooh, yeah, baby, these are some good ideas."
He like busts out 15 pens and starts writing it all down.
Well, fortunately, they can do that because of their 13 extra arms.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we got extra arm, extra tail, wings, bulk, crazy eyes. What else? Secondary heart.
It could
Gills.
probably be an endless list of things, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
You could have like one big arm and one little arm. Like
the
mutations
Psychos?
that go wrong.
yeah.
I don't know if
What
that
if
would
you
make
could
you
do
like
that?
like change the. Well, if we're talking about developmental nightmares, that's probably one of them.
Yeah, we're beyond that now, dang it. We're beyond it. Reason went out the door with the loot crates, buddy.
Okay, so big arm and small arm means you can't hold a gun.
Well, okay, so like, you know how there's that perk that adds like weird and crazy wacky things to the wasteland, whatever it's called?
Well, Wasteland.
Yeah, something like that you could choose purposefully because you want things to go wrong. And that one of the and that's just mutations that sometimes go wrong. You're like, "Oh, I'm going to get this buff perk, but only half of you is buff."
So it's kind of like the Jinxed situation. Man, they should do that. They should bring back Jinxed. Oh, dude, but make it affect other stuff.
Yeah.
Because Jinx is just fun in concept, and like everybody gets a luck of 1 when it comes to getting criticals, like you and everybody else. So it's just like, and there's no chance of your weapon exploding in your hands in the newer Fallout games, but that was definitely a thing in the classics. So you could walk in, get a critical miss so bad that your gun just explodes in your hands. And you have to either pick up another weapon from your inventory or just be screwed for the whole fight and run away. So
Yes.
or die.
Chaos.
There's a lot of death involved is with that too. But
Gosh.
yeah, man, that'd be cool. A Jinxed type. Make that a mutation. Just somehow find out how to make that into a mutation. That'd be awesome. Or as a downside to one of them.
It's like a mutation you just find somewhere in some old abandoned factory. You're like, who knows what this one's gonna do?
Or
I'll take
like
it.
if we're going along with Sarge's like tiered system for mutations, like when you hit like the top or get close to the top, that's when you start getting stuff like Jinxed. Like you have so much extra on your character, but you also have a huge chance of failure with a lot of things.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
I suppose if you've got massive strength as well, could be the disadvantage of you go to shoot your gun and accidentally crush the entire trigger and grip and everything.
Yeah.
Oops.
Stealth penalty. Can't fit through doorways.
Must walk sideways.
I mean, legitimately, that would be a thing. That's the first thing that popped into my head. Because I'm a guy with, like, big, broad shoulders, and if there's a narrow doorway, I cannot fit through.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're actually mutated, there is no way
I think
you
it would be
get through.
hilarious if they figured out a way to make the player hitbox like wide so you could actually turn sideways to go through a door.
Oh,
I think that'd be awesome.
that would be great.
I'm sure it's 100% possible. I figure they just probably don't do it because so many people would get
Oh,
frustrated.
they would. Yeah. But that's after implementing the ability to break through walls too.
Oh,
Or
destructible
at least
environments,
have-
goodness.
Yeah, have like
Gotta
just
have that.
some destructible walls in certain areas, like signify them with like a crack in the wall or something like that. So like you
And
could,
all
but that would
doorways.
yeah, that would destroy any chance of being stealthy in that area. Because people would be like, what was that noise? It sounded like a wall crumbling and somebody's screaming.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's still in the nightmare scenario, but what about
Oh, yeah.
quadrupeds? Like
Ooh.
four legs instead of 2.
Or the backwards legs that are like, I don't even know what you call that, like the reverse legs where it's back like bent the wrong way.
Are you
Are you talking about Digigrade?
picturing what I'm picturing, which is an extra pair of legs growing out of your butt cheeks?
No, that
Sure.
would be more like the quadruped 4 legs. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of like,
Oh, you're just replacing the legs
Yeah.
and like pushing the knees backwards.
yeah.
basically.
Or you're
for,
more
like,
thinking
for maybe
about-
like speed or something.
Maybe you're thinking more about animal legs, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
More like
Digigrade.
Khajiit and Argonians, I guess, that sort of bent but maybe not even quite the same. I don't know what I'm trying. Brain.
I could see ways to make that work. Especially if it did give you, like, extra speed,
Digigrade,
but
sorry.
worse acceleration and deceleration.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
There's interesting ways to
I don't know. Obviously, that would be a physical alteration that would be noticeable because
A pretty big one.
Oh, yeah.
your feet
Hard to
look
cover
like
up.
goat feet.
Yep. Human have plantigrade legs. Animals have digigrade legs. That's the technical.
That's why all Digimon are based on animals.
Yep, that's why. Even though there's some that are clearly people.
I don't know.
It has nothing to do with digital stuff or anything.
No. It's all about Digigrade.
Talk about them digits.
We've covered like a fair few mutations. The big kind of area I'm seeing that we've got nothing much so far is stealth.
Depends on how you want to
found
approach
ways to
stealth.
penalize stealth. Lots of them.
Yeah, we've penalised it, and like there's a few things which are generically help, but I'd like for us to come up with a really good stealth mutation.
Chameleon skin.
What? Yeah, chameleon skin was like the first thing
That's
I
too
thought
easy.
of. Like, yeah, like yeah, we can have that, but
We're not creating enough of a nightmare for developers. We must go further.
yeah,
Yeah, like snake
there's
spine.
so many ways to turn invisible in Fallout.
just straight up like an invisibility type situation. Like you've got the super mutants that can turn themselves invisible without. Do they do it without the stealth boys?
No, they have to have
That's-
the stealth boys.
They have to have the stealth boys.
So like, you know, like addicted to
Yeah.
stealth boys.
But I mean, the chameleon thing is the closest thing I can think of to like stealth in nature, which I feel like.
see, I think there's other ways to do it, like scent glands. Because if you think about how a lot of animals track, like dogs, it's through scent.
Okay.
So if you can like put a different scent elsewhere, that could maybe distract enemies and lure them over to that location, thinking, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
Oh,
Interesting.
You don't have to hide yourself to be stealthy. You also an aspect of stealth is detecting other things. So with the scent thing, if you're detecting other enemies and you know where they are behind walls and stuff like that, then you'll have an easier time getting around and being stealthy.
True.
I was waiting for you to say sonar.
Oh,
So sonar would work. I get
thought
the.
you go for sonar.
I mean sonar's good too.
I mean, it's essentially
Yeah.
what you're saying, though. It's essentially a
Yeah.
sonar.
I quite like that's a general idea because they've already got that in like Hitman vision and stuff. Not in Fallout, to be clear, in the Hitman games, but that totally can work.
I was saying snake spine in the sense that you could like literally slither as a snake.
Oh,
Interesting.
Like go
oh god.
you would travel quickly by going prone.
Man.
Arms back, just
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. And then you can sneak up under somebody and just like cleave their feet off and then they're on the floor and they're dead.
Oh my- the idea of the stealth failing there and the raider just seeing someone slither on their belly over towards you.
It would have like an extra fear effect. Like they'd be like, "What the heck?"
Yeah. I feel like it takes a lot longer to determine whether or not it's something is a threat when it's a human-sized thing on its belly.
and then it would check your other mutations to see how messed up you actually look when the raider's looking at you. And at one point, if it's just too high in the tiers, he just starts screaming and running away.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I do like the idea of mixing the giant massive muscles with the snake one now. There's no way the stealth will work.
I think those would both be tier 3, like you couldn't do both type thing.
Yeah.
Because that would be silly.
Insta fail.
Like you start slithering as a snake and you just crash through the wall by accident.
Oh my god. It's so ridiculous. They must implement it.
Yep.
You're still hissing
Well,
as you go.
I think we've come up with more than enough mutations to make every developer at Bethesda ever want to speak to us. So, in the comments, if you have a really good idea for a mutation, especially a wacky, weird one with drawbacks and what tier you want to put it in and all of that other stuff, please let us know. Best one gets comment of the cast. I'm going to say it right now.
Please do.
There it is.
You get a really good one, you will feature in the next episode of the
Yep.
PIPCAST. And if we don't mention one in the next PIPCAST, you will suck at coming up with mutations.
Yeah, Sarge will be disappointed in you if you can't come up with a mutation. And you'll
you
get
don't
the
want
not
that.
comment of the cast, which is a whole different list of the not comments.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I liked this topic. This was a good topic. Thanks for bringing it back up.
This was a great topic.
Well,
I don't think we got in that in depth the last time we talked about it. I only skimmed through the last episode 23 where we talked about
we focus much more about like mutants in the Fallout verse
instead of
coming
up with our own
stuff.
like
Yeah.
player affected stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was a good, definitely good job, Sarge. Way to go.
Good job, Sarge, and good job. You said this was an idea from your Discord or something.
Don't give them too much credit.
Never mind then.
I was very much grasping at straws.
Good job, Sarge.
What was it?
All you get all the credit.
It came from literally the line, but my marsupial mutation. And I just went, cool.
Okay.
Yep, let's roll with that.
Then never mind. I was You literally deserve all the credit.
I did.
I knew you wouldn't argue.
Well, along with getting credit for, the topic, you should get credit for the games that you're playing.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoa. Well, something I should actually get credit for is the video that came out yesterday, which was a new Skyrim build.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, I know, right? It came out yesterday, and not 30 minutes from when we're recording this.
Oh man, I gotta talk about mine too.
We all got stuff to talk
anyway.
about. Come on.
Yeah, I'll be quick with mine. I made a Skyrim build. It's a Skyrim Monster Hunter crossover build, because I know two other people in this PIPCAST are going to be talking about Monster Hunter World very soon. So I'm not going to talk about the game, because I'm going to talk about Skyrim instead. I played a bunch of it. It worked. So as well as Skyrim, I decided to jump in and play some New Vegas. The perfect Fallout game which everyone loves. And Kenji talked about earlier how they went for a Buckaroo playthrough.
Wow.
And I decided I'd be a cowboy. I was like, yeah, let's do a proper cowboy playthrough. It was all going well. I'm like 3 hours in, just made it to Novak. And I've got a set of legionary assassins coming after me. Not a big deal, because I'm able to lead them over to a Ranger Milo. I save scum at this point, because half the time the NCR Ranger and his buddies decide to run away and flee rather than firing their weapons. But I eventually get to the point where they actually do fight back, and it goes alright. Despite me only having like a varmint rifle and 2 shots in a grenade launcher, I'm able to get through them. So I walk back to Novak, get ready to head to Helios 1, and oh, what's this? Another group of 4 legionary assassins show up. Well, I guess I've got to fight them again. Fortunately, there's some traders going through, I just about manage it. Oh, there we go, I've made it to Helios 1 where, oh wow, what a surprise! 4 more legionary assassins are there.
Yeah.
So my playthrough is kind of broken at this point. Every single time I kill the 4 legionary assassins, 4 more spawn just like basically at the horizon, at the end of my vision pretty much. And I can't stop it.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm 3 hours in. A varmint rifle is my default weapon. I have no good equipment.
Yeah.
I've only just made it to Helios 1. I can either put the game down to very easy and constantly command my way through it, or I can do what I'm actually going to do, which is give up on the playthrough. Because it's just not worth it. I mean,
did you kill Whoopus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know they send assassins after you, but this feels like a bug with them spawning in every time after I've killed them.
They have like so many trigger points, but a lot of them are main quest locations that you're going to go to while you progress, which makes it extremely annoying, especially because of how powerful they are a lot of the time.
Yep. I'm against the ones with thermic lances now.
Oh god.
Yeah, and I'm like what level?
They
5,
poke
level
you,
6
die.
with a varmint rifle. Oh yes. Yeah. I have literally been bunny hopping to survive. I have only killed like 3 of them out of the 12 I've encountered.
Wow.
I've got the citizens of everywhere to do the fighting for me because I am so weak. Hence, it's just not worth it for me to carry on with the playthrough.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yep. But it's fine. It's fine. Nothing bad will happen like that when I eventually get to stream the game. It will all work perfectly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, final game I have been playing to blow off some steam is Elderborn, which is a heavy metal barbarian smash stuff game.
And Sarge told me about it, and I was like, what is this?
I told Caedo about it because the menu has like a Winamp player, basically, just of the game's tracks, and it's all just like metal things. It's just like... And that's it. And you go around, you kill a bunch of scorpions, a bunch of zombies, a bunch of mummies. You get a sword, a spear, and a big hammer, which I hate using, but does break through walls, which is pretty handy. And yeah, I've just been using them. You kill stuff. It's fun. Cost me a $5. I was like, yep. I bought it on a whim, because it was like on sale. I was like, yeah, that looks cool. Looks like the kind of thing I'm into. And it was. I've been enjoying it.
I
That's
like
good.
that the one of the editions, maybe you said it and I just wasn't listening, but I don't think so. It's Elderborn Metal AF edition.
Oh, you're looking at the actual Steam thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much a metal game.
I never heard of it. That sounds
How
interesting.
it's advertised. It popped up on Steam. It was on sale. I just was like, yep, let's go for it.
That's cool.
It was fun.
Interesting.
Highly recommend.
Am I next?
If you want to be.
I assume so.
Well, I don't know. I'm not. I'm last on the list, but we are not going in order. So
Wow.
I'll go
Yes.
next. I don't-
Yes,
oh,
go. Do
Okay.
it.
You're the boss.
it.
You're the boss, boss.
I'm not the boss.
You're the boss, bro.
I'm just the facilitator. Don't put that on me.
Well, whatever you say, boss. You pay the bill. You pay my paychecks, bro.
Good.
No.
Man, if only we were earning more than 0.3% of what Caedo gets from
Oh
this.
my God.
Jeez.
Well, I'm gonna go in reverse. Actually, the way I have them been playing more amount of Monster Hunter World than I ever thought that I would.
Aha.
It's only going to increase.
What's that?
It's only going to increase.
Yeah, I know. Yep. We can mention that probably at the end. I won't worry about that right now, but I mention it every time I stream too, which is kind of cool. Yeah, a lot of Monster Hunter World. I'm finally kind of getting to the point where I kind of maybe possibly know kind of what I'm doing with my particular loadout and everything. So it's been kind of neat. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. It's much more fun playing with people than trying to play
Yes.
by yourself with random, so
Very much so.
it makes a huge difference. But something that I have been playing mostly solo, strangely enough, is Call of Duty Zombies. In the newest Call of Duty Cold War,
Duty.
you can. I said it. I said the D word. The duty. There's actually a solo mode, which is kind of cool, because one of the
That's good.
one of the modes is called Outbreak, and it's like an open world zombie thing. Like you run around, you kill zombies, you level up your weapons, and you move on to new areas. But it's all just kind of this open world environment that you can do at your own, kind of your own pace. You're not just stuck in a building, boarding up walls and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I'm actually really enjoying it. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. If you like killing zombies. And then most recently, another game that I was not intending to play was Resident Evil 8 Village, which just came out.
Yep.
I'm not really a huge fan of Resident Evil. I never have been. Unpopular opinion, maybe. But I took a chance a couple days ago and I streamed the demo before it came out. Because I was like, you know what? I might as well give it a shot. It's a free demo. It isn't going to hurt. And I really liked it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I really liked it. I have to play it in potato mode because my computer is a dinosaur at this point. For new games especially. But I'm still able to stream it fairly decently. And I streamed the first full version of the game last night.
Yeah, I saw
This
that.
will be 2 days after you guys are actually listening to the PIPCAST, and I'm planning on streaming more. That's gonna be my next
That's a
big.
good
Just
sign.
yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of fun to stream. I've been having a blast with it. So yeah, those have been my main things. How about
Well,
you,
it's funny-
Caedo?
It's funny you got 2 Capcom games on your list.
I know. It's so weird.
Yeah, so man, it's my turn, I guess. 10 games for Fallout fans went up yesterday, or Saturday, I guess, at 10 a.m. And that's actually, while we're recording, that's going up in like 20 minutes. So it's premiering, so I should probably be there.
Oh no.
So then we got, I have some highlights from our streams over on Sarge's channel. Those are going up the following week, so next weekend. Those are the Vermintide 2 ones. It's upwards of a half an hour of nonsense from all of us, so you're probably going to enjoy it if you like listening to me, Eddie, Jared, and Sarge yell about stuff. And Sarge fall through the world. I made sure to capture that too, because that was hilarious.
Hey.
Perfect.
I did play a lot of games that I've just played a lot all the time. Monster Hunter World, not just with you, Jared, and you guys, but also with Kite. We did some Guiding Lands, which is like endgame stuff, a little bit yesterday, I think. Which is fun. It's just some passive. It's like Expedition Plus kind of thing in a new area.
I will say you did get Master Rank 200.
I did.
So congrats on
That's
that.
That's right.
Yeah. Because I've got all you guys as friends on Steam and we've all been playing Monster Hunter World, the activity feed is like updating daily almost.
Oh, is that what it said in the... Oh yeah, that's right. There was an achievement attached to that. I hate achievements. I hate achievements so much.
Oh, what? But Monster Hunter World has literally 100 achievements to get, which is the perfect number, because each one is an extra %. And I'm so down for that.
Wow.
Be that as it may, achievements are stupid. Speaking of a game I almost 100%ed. Death Stranding. It's something I just like playing. It's therapeutic for me at this point. So I've just been playing that more. I don't really need to say much more than that, I don't think. I like walking around as Norman Reedus or driving and enjoying the landscape of Death Stranding and the weird, wacky characters. But I also tried a game that's like Fallout, but it's not part of the Fallout games for Fallout unlike games for fans list. That was.
Yep. You might want to change that title before it comes out, Caedo.
Fallout games. Underrail. I played Underrail a little bit. This is a classic, like Fallout 1 and 2 inspired turn-based RPG type thing with a mixture of Metro when it comes to like premise. So it's an isometric view game that takes place in Metro tunnels a lot of the time, and it's all right. Where Atom RPG had an actual like opening cutscene and like at least gave you a starting point, Underrail just kind of throws you in, and they're just like, okay, just go. Here's an objective or two. Go explore Metro tunnels, maybe die, or something. Which I don't think it holds me long enough to make me want to play it. I mean, the dialogue and stuff was written a lot better with a lot of the characters, but like I have zero investment in them so far. Because there is no like main character motivation. It's just like, well, you're a citizen now. Help us out by clearing out the tunnels. And I'm like, I don't. Why though? But why am I doing this? What are we working towards here? A functioning society and that's it? That's boring. That's civilization. Do that instead. So, yeah. But yeah, so Underrail is mixed for me so far. It's definitely got a lot of fun RPG coolness to it. The turn-based combat is fairly unforgiving. It's got a crafting system. It's got just a lot of modernizations in and a retro graphical style, which could have a positive or negative effect. It's probably mostly negative effect on a lot of people at this point, because isometric with retro graphics is a hard sell for a lot of people. But yeah, looking forward to whatever other stuff is on my Fallout-like games list.
Cool.
And that's it, I think. Unless you guys have any other additions.
Watch us streaming live right now.
Yeah. Go over to Sarge's channel.
Play Monster Hunter
Yeah,
World.
we're playing Monster Hunter World at Sarge's channel. Go watch it, because it's more shenanigans. And I'm probably... That's going to be... I have so many Monster Hunter World highlights already. There's going to be more with you guys as well. And I'm totally down for it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll see all of you wonderful Wastelanders in 2 weeks, 10 a.m. Pacific on Sunday for the next PIPCAST 3000. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.